Hello Striders, my name is Bobgar. Welcome to $10 Deck. This week we're going to be playing some $10 Living End. Living End is called Living End because it runs the card Living End. It is a suspend card that came out in Time Spiral. You pay 4 mana, you wait 3 turns, and then it has the same effect that Living Death used to a long time ago. And what Living Death does is basically, you can just think of it as it takes everything in play, moves it to the graveyard, takes everything in the graveyard, brings it into play. So it flips the two. But we cannot be asked to pay 4 mana or to wait. So what we do instead is, this card technically has converted mana cost 0, and so what we do is we play a Cascade card that costs 3, like Demonic Dread or Violent Outburst. And when you play those cards, what Cascade does is you flip cards in your deck until you find one which has a converted mana cost of less than the initial cost, which is 3, and then you get to play that card for free. So the only card we run with converted mana cost less than 3 is Living End, so every time we play Demonic Dread or Violent Outburst, assuming there's still a Living End in our deck, we will have an opportunity to play that Living End for free. So that brings the problem of we can't have any cards in our deck less than 3 mana. So how do we build our deck? So what we do is you build the deck with a whole lot of cycling creatures. There's 3 1-mana cyclers, an Architect of Will, Deadshot Minotaur, and Monstrous Carabid. Basically, you pay a single mana of the right color, they go to your graveyard, so you're going to be able to get them back with Living End later, and you get to draw a card too. So they're really good value for the deck. They help you draw into these combo pieces too if you don't have them. There's also a bunch of 2 mana cyclers. Jungle Weaver is the only one that just is a normal cycler for 2. There's also Street Wraith, which cycles for 2 life, so basically for free. That's really good. And finally, there's 2 cyclers that cycle for lands that you might need. Because this is a powered down version of the deck, we're running only basic lands, 6 forests, 6 mountains, and 6 swamps. So I'm running 6 Igneous Pouncer. This was run occasionally in old versions of Modern End, but most decks have cut it just because it only has 1 toughness, so it dies to a lot of things, and the haste isn't super relevant. It's nice when it happens with Demonic Dread, but usually you don't have enough to kill them on the spot anyway, and Violent Outburst, pretty much it acts like they have haste anyway, so you can do it in instant speed, so you can just play it at the end of your opponent's turn. So the real reason we play it is because it has Swamp Cycling and Mountain Cycling, so it can fetch us for 2 colorless, the correct land that we need in order to use whichever combo piece we've drawn. Pale Recluse is the same, except it hits forest. Unfortunately, it only hits forest, so it's only good if we need forest. But again, these are just in here for basically some mana fixing if we need mana fixing. The other creatures we're running in the main board, 3 Shriekmaw to kill creatures early, keep us in the game for a little bit longer. Obviously it goes to our graveyard too, so that when we do Living End, it'll come back in, and we can again kill the biggest creature that they had in their graveyard that came back in. And Faerie Macabre. This allows us to discard it to exile things from our opponent's graveyard to keep them from getting things back in, and because we discard it when it does that, this comes back in too. So those are all the creatures, those are all the cards in the main board basically. We run a very small number of lands. This is because we rely on cycling to draw us extra cards. Since we have 31 cards, I guess not quite 31, we have, 25 cards that cycle, something like that. Those cycles are going to get us more lands, and some of them explicitly, 8 of them explicitly give us lands. So even though it says 18 lands, if you count the 8 that explicitly give us lands, it might be more like 26, and then if you count all the other cyclers as thinning our deck, you get the picture. We're actually not running that few lands, even though it looks like we're not running very many. The sideboard, we have some pretty generic answers that are really good. Fortunately, the sideboard gets to be very cheap in this deck. Bojuka Bog exiles our opponent's graveyard. Brindle Boar gains this life. This is valuable against any aggro deck like Death's Shadow, Yazoo, Burn, that kind of thing. Affinity, potentially. Ricochet Trap is great. This is against control decks. It basically, one of the biggest problems with the deck is if your opponent counters your Living End, you're in a lot of trouble. You only get 3 of them, and especially things like Remand really trip them up. Because forces it into your hand where you have to wait 3 turns for it to be cast. This is a 1 mana copy target blue spell, and actually no, it doesn't copy it. It just changes the target of target blue spell, but you can make it counter itself. Anyway, so that's great. Slaughter Games we're running 3 of. It's a lot better in the powered up version of the deck, but it exiles any number of cards with a given name, and it also can't be countered, so it's great against combo decks. You can grab Ad Nauseam with this or other combo pieces. Ingot Chewer, 1 mana you can evoke it so it comes into play and gets sacrificed immediately, but it destroys target artifacts, so this is great against decks like Affinity and Lantern Control. You put this in, kill their artifact, and when you living end later, you'll get it back in again and get to kill another artifact. So very powerful against, basically very powerful in the right matchup, but not powerful in enough matchups to make the main board. So yeah, this deck is going to be a lot of fun to play, I think. I don't know how much we'll win. I'm hoping we win at least 2 of the 5 games, but we'll see. It is powered down quite a bit. The things we're missing are normal versions of the deck run about 3 Beast Within in the main board to answer just generic threats. 4 Fulminator Mages to combat lands, basically. Simian Spirit Guides, usually 3 or 4, to help us power out our combo early if we need to. Also good in combo matchups with Slaughter Games. That's the big one I was thinking. Like, Slaughter Gamesing on turn 3 is a much bigger game than Slaughter Gamesing on turn 4, because a lot of combo decks go off turn 4, so this can just be a little too slow in this deck, I'm worried. And obviously, normally the deck runs a much better land base. This is ultra budget land base that we're trying to make work, and I'm hopeful that it'll do at least decently. So we'll see. Anyway, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to play. I hope you watch the matches, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you later. Hello Stratters, Bobgar here. Welcome back to $10 deck. We're playing some Living End in Modern, going up against Flesh Feaster. That's a very cool name. Hopefully they do not feast upon our flesh. We have a single land. We got 2 combo pieces. We got 2 cycles. We have a creature, but the creature only this creature only cycles for another forest, and the forest isn't even right for the cycler. So I think I'm going to mulligan here, which is a little bit unfortunate. I should have said, hello, good luck. I think this is better, although it's still not great, but I suspect we'll be able to combo off turn 3 if we want to. We don't have a lot to combo with, but I think it's worth keeping. I think that's going to go to the bottom here. We don't know what they're on, and it could be good, but I don't think it's worth it. It also is a non-bow with Deadshot Minotaur, because this has to attack. This has to kill a flyer when it comes into play if it can, and this is a flyer, and it's the only flyer in your deck. So I think I'm going to bottom it until we see that it's useful. And I can start either land here. I think I'm going to start Mountain only because Mountain hits slightly more things for us. So I'm going to pass turn. You can cycle at instant speed, so I'm going to cycle on their end step. And I'm going to hold Street Wraith until I need to cycle it. Obviously, I'm going to want to cycle Deadshot Minotaur right away. It's a little unfortunate that we have a Living End in our hand, but we do at least have some stuff. Utopias Ball, interesting. Well, maybe an Enchantress deck. I don't know. What color did they put it on? Green. Alright. Alright, well this is not looking super good for us. I may cycle Street Wraith at the end of their turn to see if I hit another cycler. 2 copies of Violent Outburst. We can't play until next turn, and we're only going to have 2 creatures in the yard when we do. It might end up being worth it anyway. He's mono green right now. Sure. He plays it on green, so he's going to be a mono green deck probably. Satyr Wayfinder. Cycle, pay 2 life. Alright, that wasn't bad. Get a swamp. Pass turn. Okay, well now at least we have a relatively big board. The only question I have now is when to combo off. So the problem is I don't really want to give him, he's at 1, 2, 3, if I let him untap with this guy he's at 6 mana, so I think I can't let him untap with that guy. But he can still do a lot with 4 or 5 mana potentially. So I think I just Violent Outburst during his upkeep, which doesn't feel great, but I guess I can do it on his draw step too. I don't think it's going to matter. He's mono green. I don't think he can really stop me. And I guess there was no reason I could have just done it on my main phase. But I'm just going to do it now. I just don't want to give him a chance to be able to use that mana. So, kill his Satyr. Oh, I should have done on my turn so I could have attacked for 5. I'm very silly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't think it'll really matter, but that's fine. Well, we'll see. We'll see what he gets. Oh, he just scoops to that. Well, good. We got game 1, even with my slight punt. So, it's an enchantment deck. We don't have a lot against that. Ingot Chewers will not be good. Slaughter Games, I don't know what he's playing to Slaughter Games yet. It actually could be good if he's, like, specifically a Tooth and Nail deck. I could Slaughter Games Tooth and Nail, and that could be pretty good. Or if he's specifically, I think I just have to go run this back, because I think none of these are really for the problem matchup. I worry I'll be a little bit too slow. Yeah, let's keep it. Should I tell him what my deck is? So this is a harder choice of whether to keep it or not. I guess we only get 1 cycle. We are on the draw. I'd like a second land. I do have the ability to get more lands if we hit 2. But we don't have that many looks. This is tough. We do have... feels pretty good because we have a combo piece. Admittedly, that's not in the colors that we want. And we have 1 cycler. I'm going to mulligan it. I think it's not good enough. This one I'll keep even though we don't have really what we need. And I'll put that on top so I can get a swamp next turn. But I might just be too slow. I think I start red. I can cast either, but I'll probably put Monstrous Carabid in there. I worry a little bit we might be too slow here. Yeah, he's going to get 4 mana right here. I'm assuming he's Tooth and Nail. That's the thing that would make the most sense to me. Okay, he's got a lot of creatures. I think he's going to be able to just outpiece me here. I mean, but I'm going to keep playing it because there's some chance that he just has no threat. And, you know, even if he does have a threat, depending on what that threat is, it's possible it just, you know, dies to the stuff that I have. Well, I have more land to keep playing, but I can't play this guy yet. Yeah, I think I have to do Pummeler here. I think I'll do it off green. I drew way too much green mana, but that's alright. That happens. Well, he's getting to 6. What does he have for 6, I wonder? Bum bum bum. Primeval Titan. That would be pretty good. Oh, Omnath. Neat. And Predatory Ooze. Alright. Well, it does still kill Predatory Ooze at least. Swamp cycling. Grab Swamp. Alright, well that was not quite ideal. Do I do it now? I don't think there's any advantage to doing it now. I think I pass turn. He can do a lot of damage to me next turn, but he can't kill me. So I have at least 1 turn to draw an out. I'm going to have at least 2 draws, 3 draws to do it. So if I draw my combo piece in 3 draws, I think I'm in relatively good shape. Unless he plays a trampoline thing here. Nope, he just does that. Swings in, sure. And he's going to pump up all his mana. That makes sense. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier, but definitely is the right thing to do. So I go to 9, something like that. 10. Yeah, this guy's even 2 turns away from playing, so I can't do that. He's going to Genesis Wave. Okay, so he has a Genesis Wave deck. That's a good thing to know. Alright, Genesis Waves. Gets a bunch of things. That's all of that is fine. I basically need to win this turn anyway, so I don't really mind getting any of that. I don't know if Genesis Wave is scary enough for me to go to end step, cycle black, cycle red, cycle green. Alright, not looking good. Cycle this. Alright. So, I'm going to pass turn here and let him go for it. And then I'm going to Violent Outburst. So I did manage to draw my answer. We'll see if we'll see what happens. Plays it Wayfinder Shore. Plays it Tusker Shore. Goes to attacks. Swings in. No blockers. Which one do I want? I guess I can cast Street Wraith next turn. So I think I order them like this. Don't think I'm that scared of Predatory use, so I think I do it like this. Alright, well, I think we probably did it here. Sweet! Well, we took match one against a, I mean, it was kind of an interesting deck. It was a, used a card that I was thinking I might use in my one of these decks that I brew sometimes. It uses Genesis Wave. Genesis Wave decks are pretty cool. Anyway, sweet. 2-0 match one against probably not a totally tier 1 deck, but it was a lot of fun. We did what we were supposed to do, and we drew our combo piece at just the right time. He definitely could have had game 2. Anyway, cool. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Hey guys, Bobgar here. I just really wanted to quickly say, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you enjoy my content in general and would like to see more of it, subscribe. I'll be coming out with more content in the future. And please leave me comments and let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, both in terms of production and in terms of my play and my deck building and all that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.